What's going on? What's going on? What's going on, y'all? It's your girl Stizzle Speaks. Welcome to Coffee Talks, my new podcast. So I'm super excited to bring this like live now and really have it rolling. Coffee Talks to me is an opportunity for us to talk about leadership, lifestyle, love, and leveling up. It's higher elevation for women all 2022. And I wanted to create a platform where I could really talk about all of those things openly, freely, and with some amazing women that I know and some men, because I'll have men on the show as well. So thank you for tuning in to Coffee Talks podcast with Stizzle Speaks. Today, I have an amazing guest joining me. Her name is Lisa Marie, and she is the founder, CEO of Mood Lashes. So we're going to get right into leveling up, talking about business, and really how to obtain your own lash business if that's what you're interested in, or maybe you're interested in a different business that has similarities in terms of finding vendors and all those things that she will talk about. So I'm excited you guys are here with me. If you're listening in, stay connected with us. If you're here on YouTube Live, welcome. I'm going to go ahead and see if my guest is available. Hope you guys are having a really great day. I see her getting her hair together.
Hello! I have had a day. Oh my God. A whole day right now.
Oh no.
It's okay. This is
here.
I'm a little crazy today, but it's okay. I'm here.
You are here. Well, this is probably part of what we'll talk about on this live,
Absolutely.
When it comes to managing many, many things, from being a mom to being an entrepreneur, working, like everything. So
yes.
Welcome to the live. I'm so excited to have you as my first guest.
Thank you.
Anyone who's like completely new to Stizzle Speaks or new to Lisa, you may not know, but Lisa is my best friend. And we had a show called Nice Kicks that we did last year. We started when the pandemic hit. And so it's so exciting and humbling for me to have Lisa as my first guest now that I'm on this journey of doing a podcast solo. So thank you for making the time. I appreciate you.
Oh, absolutely. I appreciate you back.
So like I was telling everyone earlier, Coffee Talks podcast is about leadership, lifestyle, love, and leveling up. And so every week when I come live, I'll have a different guest and we'll talk about, maybe one of those categories, or we'll intertwine. Because I know for us, we've both been in a space of leadership, and as a CEO and founder of your own lash business, that takes a lot of leadership as well. But it's also about leveling up because you've done so much with the business since you started, and just working your space as a mom and going through the pandemic and all those things. So we will always talk about one of the four categories or intertwine the four. So I'm excited. And I have my coffee with me, which is very different than Nice Kicks when we had alcohol.
I have my water.
That works. So if you're tuning in and you're watching, grab your coffee. It's going to be full of with kosher on, or water. Absolutely. So let's get right into it.
Yes.
So introduce yourself. Let everybody know who you are, what you do, where you're from.
All right. So I'm Lisa Marie, and I'm from Boston. Hometown for Stizzle Speaks. Boston. And I am owner of Mood Lashes by Lisa Marie, which I started back in August of 2020, and been rocking it out from there, basically.
Mm-hmm. And Mood Lashes. So talk to us about the name first. That's what I want to start with, because I think in terms of the name, it's so creative, it's so different. And I know your story, so I'm going to try to pose these questions as if I don't. But, tell the audience, like, where did Mood Lashes come about? Like, how did that come about for you?
Absolutely. So, growing up as a kid, I was always deemed a moody child. So I'm an only child and was a little spoiled. Still am a little bit, but I was always deemed as like a moody child. And I always went off of my mood for various things. Even growing up in fashion, I love fashion. I've done styling before. So have that in my background as well. And just basically, what am I wearing off of my mood? What am I doing today off of my mood? How am I acting? How am I reacting? Everything was based off of mood. So I thought it was a great fit to go ahead and start the lash line with Mood Lashes.
Oh, someone must be calling.
lashes. Am I here? Did you catch
Yep,
me?
it froze a little bit. Okay, you're back.
I'm back. So sorry. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. So, you know, each lash is basically catering to a specific mood. So right now, we're doing it for the ladies, and we have different mood names that I thought would fit women that are in my life, or that I feel like, for me, have the specific mood that I can kind of have on a day-to-day basis, as well as like most women.
Hmm. And I mean, I feel like mood is so, like I
Oh,
said,
I can't hear
creative.
you.
You can't hear me? Can you hear me now?
Nope.
Uh oh. Can you hear me now?
No.
Uh oh. I wonder if it can anyone hear me that's watching? Mel, if you're still
Um,
watching, because I saw you in there. Tell me if you hear. We're literally live, so this is what happens when we're live. But if you can hear me in the audience,
do you
let
want
me
me to jump
know.
on and jump back off?
Yeah, why don't you jump off and then try to come back
Okay.
in?
All right.
Yes.
Hold.
And while she's doing that, I'll just reset the room. So if you just joined us, this is Coffee Talks podcast with Sizzle Speaks. Oh, Mel, you can hear me. Thank you so much, Mel. So if you're just tuning in, I have Lisa Marie, founder CEO of Mood Lashes, and today we're talking about how she was able to level up and start her own business during the pandemic, all while having two kids at home. And if you're a parent watching this, you already know what went down during the pandemic when you had children. There was no school, and then it turned into homeschool. So a lot that you had to deal with and juggle as a parent. So I definitely want to get into more conversation with her about that. So let me just see if she can get back in.
I'm back. I'm so
Can you hear me?
sorry.
You can hear me now?
I can hear you much better. I
Okay.
don't know what happened.
You sometimes when people call just like IG live,
Yep.
it'll mess everything up. So I always say put the phone on do not disturb if you're gonna
Yep.
use the phone as a device, whether on IG live or YouTube live, and then it'll settle that.
That is such a great tip. I wish I knew that earlier. I'm so sorry.
We'll know for the next one. Um, so
Absolutely.
so we're talking about mood, the name, how it came about,
Yes.
and you created the line with different styles of lashes based on different moods, which I think is so incredibly smart because as women, we tend to have a lot of different emotions and be moody anyway,
Mhm.
right? And I'm a Gemini, so I can completely relate. I'm like five different moods in one day.
Mhm.
And so when you go about thinking about your target audience, and really speaking to those women who can understand different moods, like they will gravitate towards, okay, I want to be, romantic or sassy this day. And we'll get into some of the names later. So definitely wanted to say great job with the name. I want to talk a little bit about sort of like the foundation in starting the business because I know a lot of people watching the live right now who are either interested in starting their own lash business or some sort of e-com business
Mhm.
probably don't even have an idea like where to even begin,
Mhm.
right? And so for like once you understood and knew that you wanted to create a lash line, Mood Lashes was the name, what was like the next step for you in terms of like getting to being an entrepreneur and having an actual business?
Yeah. So I think the next step was probably the hardest step because it's getting up and taking the action to just start it.
Mm-hmm.
So knowing the idea that I had, coming up with the name, that was the first step, and then being like, all right, now how am I going to make this work, because I've never had an online shop before. um there were so many different hurdles that I already like made in my mind
Mm-hmm.
without even going into it. And I just had to realize, let me take things step by step. So I kind of wrote everything out. I did a lot of research, um, on the industry, on how to start a business. Being a mom, starting a business, that was a big fear for me, because of my schedule and just everything that was happening. And then I also invested in a coach. So, we know Brendan
Mm-hmm.
Boyd, shout out to him. He was doing coaching sessions for business owners. And he really helped me lay out each step of, okay, who's your target, almost like helping me with the business plan in a sense, and giving me connections in terms of, okay, reach out to this person so you can, get this done through them. If you need a website done, this is a person. What's your budget? Those sorts of things like that. So I think that was the key part in realizing that I had to really be able to ask for help,
Mm-hmm.
and not only doing the research, but talking to people who were successful in running a business or had that knowledge as well to be able to do that.
Okay. So it was really about creating sort of that plan. I think something that you said key there was you got a coach. Because a
Mm-hmm.
lot of times we don't understand the end result of having a really great coach
Mm-hmm.
until we see the success happen. And it's like you have to go through investing in yourself, getting a great coach for areas that you may not know what you're doing, right?
Exactly.
Because we'll go into some of the things that, I wish I would have known and that you want to share with us a little bit later.
Mm-hmm.
But part of having a coach and part of having someone that can walk you through the steps that it takes to either start your own business, be successful in crypto, whatever it is that you want to do, a coach is that person that will help you come up with your answers, right? So either a coach or a consultant, both very different, but they're
Mm-hmm.
so key and so necessary because we don't know everything, right? So that
Mm-hmm.
was definitely something key that you said. And then the other part to that was to just start. And, as humans, we have natural fears, and fear is okay because it's something that we'll have all the time, but it's different when you allow that fear to take over you versus having that fear and kind of breaking through it. So, kudos to you for breaking through that fear factor of one, how am I going to do this if I don't know how? To then getting a coach. And then two, how am I going to do this as a mom with two boys who are like literally, they take time. Kids take
Mm-hmm.
time. Like, I
Mm-hmm.
can't do this, but you broke through that fear also and started the business. So that's amazing. I wanted to touch on budget because I feel like that's another thing that's super important and also
Mm-hmm.
probably a fear factor for many people when it comes to starting their own business is
Mm-hmm.
where am I getting the money to start and how much does it actually cost to
Mm-hmm.
start this business and run this on my own. So if you
Mm-hmm.
can talk to us a little bit about what did your budget look like? Did you have a budget? How did you just kind of get started into figuring that piece out?
That is, you're so spot on with that because budget is everything in the beginning. You think about the money, like I have this idea. I don't have, thousands and thousands of dollars to start this. How can I get in? Um, I think being in the pandemic, it allowed me to, well, when it first started, when we were in lockdown and all that, it allowed me to save some money because there were a lot of things we weren't doing. Everybody was locked in the house. There was just so much stuff that we couldn't do. So it allowed me to save a little bit of money. But the research behind it of, okay, let me see what vendors can I use to develop my product, and let me kind of research what that looks like in terms of pricing, and just getting a base idea of what I would need to just start with 3 to 5 styles.
Right.
Um, Researching the online store. So I decided to go with Shopify. They were the most convenient for me that I felt that I could manage monthly with my personal money. So I had to really say, this is what I have personally income wise because I don't have a business budget. I don't have a business yet. So this is what I need to be able to look at, what can I afford on the basic bare minimum level in order to do that monthly for the business to start that.
Okay. And that was inventory budget. I'm assuming budget
Yep.
for the website because I'm assuming Shopify is not free.
They're not. No, you have to
Okay.
pay. You got to pay. No.
I'm like everyone will have a store right now.
Yep, you pay a monthly fee for Shopify to be able to do that. The good thing about Shopify is that they help you create the store. They have so many resources of giving you the analytics behind the store. So I don't really have to outsource too much for that, which is great. But then also using free platforms in terms of marketing. Marketing is huge for a
Mm-hmm.
business. So you think of, I got to have all this money for a marketing budget, but the biggest thing now for any business is social media.
Right.
So developing that and creating pages, Facebook, Instagram, um, TikTok, and being able to create pages for within those social media platforms, the Mood Lashes pages, and be able to make content for that. Also, Canva.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a graphic designer, but using a site like Canva was amazing because it's free. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And you can do flyers, I built my website off of Canva myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I had the opportunity again to pay somebody to do the website. But at that point, I said, you know what? I really just need like a basic landing page and build off of that. And I
Right.
think that is also sometimes a hurdle for someone who wants to start a business, because you think from there's A to Z and you're thinking, okay, I have to be at Z. No, you don't. You can get to
Mm-hmm.
C and be okay. Go from A to C and not have to worry about getting to Z right away. You have to go through those steps. So having just a landing page with just your few couple of products on there and promoting yourself, promoting your business and your products, versus thinking I have to have this massive website and all the clicks and all of that stuff.
Right.
It's not fully necessary, I would say, in order to just jumpstart your business.
Right. Because you just got to get the inventory up. And that's something that happens to the best of us. Perfection leads to procrastination, which then leads to it just not even getting done.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and you don't have to say it if you don't want to, but in terms of numbers, because I know someone who's probably watching and they're like, okay, I get that you didn't have a business budget yet and there was no business funding, but like how much money did it really take? Was it under $100? Was it like under 500? Was it $1,000 and up? Like, give us a range of what it took to get started to, one, pay Shopify to have the website, and then two, grab some inventory, and like how much inventory did you have to start with initially?
So I would say I started with about $1,500.
Okay.
And that was the base that I had started with of my own money, to be able to get enough inventory for me within the styles that I wanted, because we have three different categories of styles. So being able to have options within those styles, but within those categories, and the Shopify site, that also included my coach with Branding. So all of that, to be able to do that, was about $1,500.
Okay. Which isn't bad. And especially like you started during the pandemic. If
Mm-hmm.
anyone was like on the PPP or PPE or PWX, whatever they were
All
called
the
back then,
P's, all the
or,
P's.
at home on unemployment, $1,500 might have been one or two government checks for some people. I know some
Yes.
people got like tax credit for their kids at like $1,200. So it's
Mm-hmm.
definitely achievable and obtainable to start a business, something like a lash business, or,
Mm-hmm.
something smaller scale in terms of e-com, if you don't have a lot of money. And,
Yes.
the other part to that is figuring out ways to utilize other people's money, which is super important and super
Mm-hmm.
critical nowadays. And something that we don't often, know about in our culture, our community, because it's not talked about a lot. So
Mm-hmm.
figuring out ways to utilize other people's money so that you don't have to use your own. But there's so many different ways to make a business work now in 2022 that we really don't have many excuses. So vendors, I know vendors is a hot topic. And
Mm-hmm.
it's something like when I thought about doing selling accessories online, because we are accessory queens. Like
Mm-hmm. Love
literally,
it.
if you guys have been following us for a long time, you probably know, seeing us out in the clubs back in the day, but we would have bracelets like from our wrists to our elbows.
Yes.
Like that's how much we love accessories. And
Mm-hmm.
so when I thought about doing e-com and getting into accessories and selling accessories online, I got deterred by it, because I was like, how do I find a vendor? And like people talk about AliExpress, they talk about
Mm-hmm.
Alibaba. I
Mm-hmm.
watched 1,000,001 videos on drop shipping, and then I was like,
It's a lot.
I can't. It's way too much.
Mm-hmm.
So, how did you find your vendors for Mood Lashes? What was that process like?
Mm-hmm. So, and I promise you guys that I will find the name, because God, I do not remember the name, but there
Okay.
was a company that was promoting on Instagram, where if you buy the package, you would be able to get basically open access to all vendors, for if you wanted to do a clothing boutique, activewear, lashes, makeup, like every type of vendor in there. It also gave you tips on marketing, social media, so many different things, and it was about $300.
Mm-hmm.
Now, someone I know was in the process of starting their business as well. and they had purchased it. And I said, listen, I will give you half to help me with that. Share what you have. I don't need all the pages. I don't need the clothing. I don't need all that. I just need the lashes and those type of vendors. I swear again, I will go back and find it because this was almost 2 years ago now.
I know, and I kind of remember when this post came up because we were talking about it because someone we knew was starting a clothing company at the same time. Yeah.
Yes. And I was on it like, girl, I need your help. Again, you gotta tap on somebody's shoulder, like, hey, I need
That's
your help.
so
You
smart.
doing this? I'm doing this. What can we do? Because I knew at that point $300 was gonna be a lot. But I said, I will give you some money, something, whatever we can do so I can get in on this. And that's how I was able to get the vendors that I were able to find. It was so helpful because there's certain my vendors are in China, you know, they're across the country. But it gave me templates of what to write, to how to reach out to them. Because everybody is probably reaching out and they want to make sure that you're a reputable
Right.
person to work with. So it gave you all of those tips. It even said, you know, use this name in there, that this is where I got it from as a reference. So that was very, very helpful. And then from there, I get lash vendors all the time that, you know, DM me on Instagram and say, hey, I'm a lash vendor in China and I'm doing this. Check out my catalog. And they send me all types of things through WhatsApp. So it's allowed me to open up that pathway and that communication with other vendors out there to be able to do other products or just see what other lash styles are out there and things like that.
Right. Okay. And did you like your first vendor that you found? Was that the vendor you went with? Did it change over time? Like, what was the process in making sure like the quality was what you were expecting? Because lashes, and I'm wearing a pair of lashes today by Mood Lash called Sassy. So we'll get into that. That was a sneak peek. But you know, they're different quality. I know yours are mink lashes. So like, were they right? Or did you have to go through a few? How did that look?
So I did. The good thing is that a lot of these vendors in the lash world will give you a sample pack. So you can pay for a sample pack, where I invested $60 for a couple of samples just to kind of go through. And I went through 4 different vendors in the beginning to get their samples, to try them out, look at the styles, feel the quality, all of that. The one that I loved, I was like, this is great. They're amazing, but they were so pricey.
Like, how much for a lash?
They wanted so
like 80% above what they normally would cost.
No, because all right, when I'm like, I don't even know how much I can say right now. The lashes are very inexpensive when you go wholesale.
Okay.
I needed it to be like below $2 is what I was looking for. They wanted like $5 and some change. So
they wanted more than like a Walmart would charge if you just walked in there and grabbed a pair of lashes, right?
Correct.
Okay.
And then shipping, because you know you got to pay for shipping. Shipping from China is not cheap. So they charging you, you know, so it's all about weight, things like that. So I'm like, damn, the lashes are amazing, but the price is not where I want to see my profit margins go with this business. And in terms of how much inventory I want, all of that played a factor. So I ended up going with another vendor that had sent, who had great quality, same kind of deal. They just had different styles. So I ended up going with them and I love them. I've been working with them for the entire time. I have a glue that I get from them, the adhesive glue, magnetic glue. And then I have another vendor that I'm working with that does the applicator. Another vendor I'm working with on another product that I'm going to launch this year. So just being able to try all of that out was
so it sounds
important.
like it's like trial and error.
Yes.
When it comes to vendors, especially I think for like lashes, hair extensions, anything like clothing, even like you want to get a sample and actually test the product for yourself before you put your name on it and put it out there on the market, because the worst thing you could do is push out something that you don't even feel 100% confident about and try to sell it to people, because it will come back and people will return it. And I know a woman who sells hair extensions. She does really well. Well, I don't know
Mm,
her personally, but I follow her on Instagram. She
mm,
does really well. And she mentioned that same thing when it came to her vendor. She literally found the vendor after trial and error and has stuck to that vendor for the past
mm-hmm,
couple of years because the consistency is the same every
mm-hmm.
single time.
All
And
the time.
although the prices have gone up because supply and demand has changed, but she sticks to them. Something that you mentioned, which I think is really important for anyone watching that, is looking to be a business owner or is already in the ownership field, and selling a product, is profit margin
Mm-hmm.
and being mindful of like how much money do you really want to take home from a product. And someone like you love Shark Tank. Like
I
you
love Shark Tank.
literally
If I could
love
be on
Shark
there
Tank.
right now, I would be on there right now.
You could be.
I will
You could
be.
be. We can figure that out.
I
If
know.
anybody at Shark Tank is watching this, like let's get in touch.
Yes.
But that was something also for you. That's sort of a coach in your back pocket, watching that show and understanding what your profit margin should look like when it comes to selling a product. Because the worst thing you could do is sell a product and not make any money from it because you're spending too much money on
Mm-hmm.
production, getting it made and getting
Mm-hmm.
it out there and selling it.
Mm-hmm.
So you've been in a place where you've been able to be smart about your profit margin, get the product at a price point that works for you, and also be able to essentially make some money and pay yourself back with the business. So that's awesome.
Yes. And that like I'm not a reader per se. Like some people are into like books and can read. And I try. The covers look so good. The titles be so good. I have my highlighters and I'm like, oh, I'm ready to go. And I'm like, I cannot because I can't retain the information. So I'm like, I'm such a visual person. So YouTube's, Instagram shorts, like things like that. I'm like, okay, I can get it. And that's why I love Shark Tank because I've watched them for all 13 seasons and
Mm-hmm.
just learning the lingo behind it, customer acquisition costs, all of that, and certain things I wouldn't know. And I'm like, let me Google see what this is, and I would take notes. And I'm like, this is amazing. So I gotta have my pitch ready when I'm going on there,
Yes,
and hopefully I get somebody, Mark Cuban, somebody out there, come give a sister a chance.
absolutely. Yes, for sure. So I want to dive in a little bit about sort of, and I don't want to call it balancing because there's no such thing as
Mm-hmm,
balance when it comes to being a mom, being an entrepreneur, and managing a part-time job at the same
mm-hmm,
time. But I want to talk about that a little bit because I feel like it's important for people to understand. One, you don't have to quit your job in order to be an entrepreneur. Like you can be an entrepreneur, you can have your own business, you can be successful with your own business and
mm-hmm,
still work a 9 to 5 if you choose to, or work a part-time job and
mm-hmm,
be a mom and be a wife and be a best friend. Like you can do all of those things. And
mm-hmm,
it's just a matter of, I look at it like what percentage of
mm-hmm,
each category is it going to take for me to feel
mm-hmm,
like I'm 100% whole when I lay my head down to rest at night. And
mm-hmm,
so, in thinking of it that way, I feel like it's easier to digest than to say, how do I balance everything? Because you literally, there is
mm-hmm,
no such thing. Because as
mm-hmm.
soon as one thing gets heavier in terms of the percentage and the load, something else, goes up or goes down. So, as a mom of two beautiful boys, my god kids, talk to the people about when you first started the business, what that looked like for you, and juggling the percentage of at home with the kids. It's pandemic, they're at home doing homeschool,
Mm-hmm.
um, reporting to work when that happened and it opened back up, and
Mm-hmm.
you were there part time, and still being able to run and manage your inventory, keep your Shopify up to date,
Mm-hmm.
talk to your customers and market your brand.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes, I love that you said like there's no balance. So that was a great part because there is no balance. And I'm a Libra. So we're all about balance in the scales, but them scales just they go up and down all the time. And there really is not a true balance in life because something is going to get missed. So, there may be a time where the kids I can't give them enough time because I have a day of things that I have to do, or I might have a vendor event or something, so I can't spend a weekend with them because I have to do a vendor event. This just happened recently. So there's so many different things that you have to kind of figure out. In terms of in the beginning, it was difficult because they were homeschooled and they both needed attention. What I did do was during their breaks, I would write down, okay, this is what I have to work on for Mood Lashes. And if they were on a specific class or something, I would get on Instagram and start like promoting. So really scheduling out the time and the day. I feel like you have to be super organized with your time when it comes to running a business, being a mom, and everything else and the shit that comes with world and life.
Mm-hmm.
The organization piece. I also included them in the business in the beginning as well. And I do still now. Like I have videos with my youngest son with Aiden, and he's like, follow Mood Lashes,
Mm-hmm.
make sure you check it out. So I have things like that where I'll include them, but I would have them helping me, package lashes and stuff like put these together here. What does this look like? What do you think this looks like on mommy? So just being a part of it as well, because I want them to understand that um anybody can be an entrepreneur. Not, and when I say anybody, I mean a woman, a man. It's not just a man's world. Women can
Mm-hmm.
do it as well. And I want them to really be thankful in the long run. Like, my mom really did it. Because right now, they don't care.
Yep.
They do not care. They get so mad. And there's mommy guilt. Like I have mommy guilt sometimes because I'm like, damn, I feel bad. They want to be with me, but now they got to go with their dad because I have a vendor event or I have to do this. And it's hard because they're like, you're always working, you're always doing this. And I'm like, but look, mommy has, like, I have lash stuff everywhere in my room. You know what I mean? It's like mommy has to work, mommy has to get stuff done, and I'm doing it for you guys. But they're still little to not really understand it fully.
Right. But what I think is so amazing in that moment is the fact that you got them involved in the process. Because, like you said, if we want to talk about generational wealth and making sure that we can leave something behind for our kids to pick up and
Mm-hmm.
take on and carry
Mm-hmm.
that legacy, is really about showing them the way as young as possible. So the fact that they're there and they're packaging the lash with you, that's time that they're spending. So you're being able to be a great mom and an entrepreneur, and also teach your two boys what it looks like to run your own business. And so
Mm-hmm.
when you're ready to pass this thing on, when it becomes big, unless you scale to sell, they're able to say, oh, I know how to run Mood Lashes if I needed to. Like, I
Mm-hmm.
understand what the packaging looks like, or what the process looks like, or how to create an Instagram post, all those things that they can learn from you. So I think
Mm-hmm.
that's amazing. And some people may not have had that same mentality, like, okay, let me put them to bed and then I'll work on the business, or
Mm-hmm.
let me send them to a friend's house and then I'll work on the business. But
Mm-hmm.
adding them into it is so crucial, so critical. What I want to do really quickly is just reset the room. So welcome everyone, this is Coffee Talks podcast with
Mm-hmm.
Stizzo Speaks. I'm here live with Lisa Maria Mood Lashes, and we're talking about what it takes to become an entrepreneur, how she started her business right in the height of the pandemic, as a mom with two young boys at home and a wife at the time. Like, there was a lot of hats she had to wear. But really, just to give you guys information on, you can do it. This podcast is all about leadership, lifestyle, leveling up, and
Mm-hmm.
love. So thank you for being here with me today and Lisa. And we're just going to continue on. If you're here watching live on YouTube, if you have any questions, feel free and please leave them in the comments, because we love questions.
Mm-hmm.
So anything you want to know about the lash business, vendors, starting your own business, Shopify, all those things, definitely leave your comments below. So one thing I want to talk about in terms of marketing, because if there's anything I know about Lisa Marie to be 100% true, is that you could sell salt to a slug. Like, literally, you could sell salt to a slug. And you've always been someone who's been so great at sales and not afraid. Not
Mm-hmm.
afraid to speak about the business, not afraid to sell anything. Like, I've seen you sell other people's products for them and you don't even know the person. Like,
I
there was a
know.
story you talked about, but being at like a place similar to like a Chuck E. Cheese or whatever it was, and the kids were eating pizza and you were selling the pizza to the people behind you, like didn't even know them, didn't like had no parts of the business, and you were
I
selling.
know.
So that's something that's so great in terms of a skill set to have as an entrepreneur, if you have an e-com business or any business where you're selling a service or a product,
Mm-hmm.
because closed mouths don't get fed. And I
Mm-mm.
think about when I walk in, or I'm walking up to a grocery store or a Target or Walmart, and there's people outside either trying to get you to sign up for a petition or give them a donation for something. And the ones that don't say anything, I think to myself, and I'm like, how do you expect that you're going to get someone to sign up or you're going to get a donation if you're not even asking,
Exactly.
right? But you are such the opposite. You literally will ask and mention mood lashes to any woman that you see, whether she's wearing lashes or needs to be wearing lashes, and you do it without hesitation. So talk to us a little bit about kind of where that skill set came from, that mindset of like, I'm hustling and this is going to happen.
Oof, I know. I think it's just it's something that's such an innate thing for me. Um and I think I would say growing up, like I would talk my way out of a lot of things. So like I would try to make deals with my mom, like, okay, so if I do this, then you don't got to do this for Christmas. So like trying to sell myself, like, you know
Yeah.
what I mean, deals and stuff. So I feel like it's just been an innate thing in me. And I think that was important for me to realize too, because I worked for if you guys remember, I mean, I'm telling my age, but BB was a clothing store that was around many years ago, very fashionable. And I worked for them for 10 years. And I was so passionate about the product and selling it. And then thinking about starting my own business, I'm like, if I could do that for somebody else's business, you know what I mean? I could absolutely do it for me. But I think, again, it goes back to just the nature of my personality. And if there's something I believe in, or if I think it's really good, I'm like, yes, girl, like you said, the pizza. I'm like, this pizza is bomb. Y'all have to get this pizza right now
Yeah.
because it is so good. The kids ate all of it. We about to get a second slice, and y'all should try a slice and all of it, and I think too, I'm very detailed when it comes to selling things. I just start, breaking down like, oh, you see this? Oh my God, this, like, this color. And then you
She about
could
to
put
sell y'all a
this.
pillow.
I excuse me, guys. I have a bad cough. Exactly. Like, this goes with everything. You can take the tag off, or my pillows over there. Just, I don't know. It's the details behind it. So when it came to mood lashes, I'm like, oh, come on. I even sell to the men for their women. Any vendor event I'm at, I'm like, listen, you got a girl, you got a wife, a side piece, somebody, you got you got women in your life. Excuse me. So somebody's gonna buy the lash. And if not, then you can still buy the lash because I'm cute and you want you can help a sister out.
Right.
And it usually works.
Yeah. Let me tell y'all, Lisa got me to buy some clothes at BB. When one, I didn't even like BB. Two, I could afford it. I can't say I couldn't afford it. I could afford it because I was bartending. But Lisa didn't even like me back then, y'all. And I walked into her store and shopped with her. That's how good she is at selling. It's insane. And so, and speaking of selling and talking about your business is something that I encourage all of us to be better with. And I'm always saying, my audience is the mirror of me because I'm my most challenging customer. I'm my most challenging client. I always will be. But, you have to be in a position where you feel 100% confident and comfortable speaking about your business, speaking about your service or your product, because it's not going to sell itself. And you can get in front of people one time, twice, three times, and it still will not be enough. So you have to come up with whatever strategy works for you and that's genuine and authentic to you to be able to pitch your business and sell your product or your service, because again, it will just sit and no one's going to know that it's happening. And so someone like Lisa, when it comes to mood lashes, she's very good at understanding that I have to speak about the features and benefits of this product for my customers so that they understand the why. Why do they need or why should they purchase this product? And so with lashes,
Exactly.
if you're a woman, you may know, or if you're a woman who doesn't wear lashes, you may not know. And from someone who's a previous makeup artist, I'll say, because I don't really do it much anymore. But like, I don't even wear lashes often. It's not something that I was always like adamant about putting on when I did a full face, because I feel like I have a great pair of lashes on my own. But it does change and enhance everything, the mood of the makeup when you put on a pair of lashes. But there's so many intricacies that come with wearing lashes, whether it's the length of the band, the
Mm-hmm.
style of the lash. There's so many things that go into that. So
Mm-hmm.
understanding the features and benefits for your customer, if you're someone out there with a lash business, is important because not
Mm-hmm.
every lash is for every woman or for
Mm-hmm.
every occasion. And so you
Mm-hmm.
got to understand eye shape and what's going to make the eyes pop or what's going
Yep.
to make them look sultry. All of those things matter. So when you're selling your service or product, understand your customer and understand their needs and how
Mm-hmm.
that product will or service will benefit the thing that's missing for them and solve the problem for them.
Exactly. Exactly. And realizing, like you said, they're finding what the problem is in the industry or business that you're in and what is one solution that you can offer. Just figure out one
Mm-hmm.
and go off of that, because there's so many. I love to use this term as an analogy, but everybody does the same thing. There's so many businesses that do the same thing. When you go to the grocery store and you go to aisle 2 and for bread, think about all the brands of bread there is. It's just bread, 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 right?
Yes.
But it's all about what particular bread is going to fit your needs and solve the solution, the problem for you at that time. Maybe gluten free, maybe price, maybe the brand name. There's so many different things. So it's the same thing when it comes to someone who's doing lashes or doing makeup or doing hair or anything, any type
Mm-hmm.
of business.
Yeah, definitely gotta know your audience. We have a question, so I want to pop that up there so we can ask. So Ari said, I have a book dedicated to Black men. How do I confidently approach customers that I may assume that would not be interested in it, more specifically non-Black people? So
Mm,
that's a great question, Ari. And I would say the first thing I would do is to not assume,
yes.
right? And that is one
Mm-hmm.
of the most challenging things we have as human beings. And, read the Four Agreements if you haven't. It's a great book and it talks about not assuming. Do not make assumptions,
Mm-hmm.
because when we make assumptions, we make an ass out of ourselves. Ass
Mm-hmm.
out of you and me is what they say, which is so true. So I would, confidently approach your customers based on what their interests are,
I was
right?
gonna
And
say yes.
understand, like,
Mm-hmm.
not every person is your client or your customer. Once you find your niche or your avatar, which is the new kind of like lingo for it,
Mm-hmm.
once you create and figure out who your avatar is, you confidently approach them based on knowing what's their problem and how can your product or your service be the solution to that problem. So
Yep.
for you, your book is dedicated to Black men. That right there shows that you've niched down a bit in terms of your target market and who you want to target to. But in your
Mm-hmm.
questioning, you want to be able to open it up and make it for non-Black people, right? More specifically in your question. So what does that look like for you in terms of
Mm-hmm.
your why behind the book, right? Because
Right.
there are a lot of biracial couples, there are a lot of biracial families, so there's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people in the non-Black market that have connections to the Black market
Correct.
and can really benefit from understanding a dedication to a Black man. So
Mm-hmm.
it's all about, how do you change the lingo to meet and match your customer base?
I agree with you 100% with what she just said. And also finding the key points and pulling those out of that book specifically that may not technically target just the Black men, but what things that you have in there, written in there, that could target any man or
Mm-hmm.
anybody for that, and really use those as selling and talking points as well.
For sure. Love that. Great question. Great
Mm-hmm.
question. Thank you for
Mm-hmm.
that. Anyone else on the live, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. If you're listening in, thank you for being here. Coffee Talks Podcast with Stizzle Speaks. I'm here with Lisa Marie, and we're talking about being an entrepreneur, woman entrepreneur with 2 kids, and working as well. So the next thing I want to talk about is, what is your favorite part about being an entrepreneur?
Oh, there's so many parts.
Good.
My favorite part would be owning something, like having total control over something that I'm super passionate about.
Mm-hmm.
And I think ultimately we all want to do things that we are passionate about. We all don't want to be stuck. in a job, in certain situations in life, when it comes to money, when it comes to, money equals freedom. So when it
Mhm.
comes to that freedom, um, but really just being able to live out your dream and your passion. And for me, this is my favorite part about it is the day to day with it. Like I go to bed, I can roll over thinking, doing everything mood lashes. I'm just super, my entire room is lashed out, everything, like it turns into your life. But I think just knowing like I own this and this is all me.
Yep. And I love the fact that that passion, spoke through you before you even started the business. And what I mean by that is Lisa is someone who literally wore lashes to the grocery store, wore lashes to
Legit.
brush her teeth, wore
Legit.
lashes to pick the kids up from school. Like it was part of her lifestyle. And as this, podcast is about leadership, lifestyle, love, and leveling up, you created a business that really speaks to your lifestyle. Like you
Mhm.
wear lashes, it's your thing. So it's
Mhm.
not challenging for you to talk about lashes. It's not challenging for you to understand what it takes to create a product that is great in terms of a lash or a glue or
Mhm.
a tool to put on the eyelashes. Like you understand in and out what it means to be someone who loves lashes, and I think
Mhm.
that's so critical and key. And not that you have to be, not you specifically, but anyone has to be
Mhm.
super passionate about the thing that they want to sell or do, because you could have a drop shipping company selling,
Mhm.
accessories or books or
Yep.
clothing and not be super passionate about that. It's just a
Mhm.
passive stream of income. But when you are someone who's immersed in your passion and it speaks to
Mhm.
your lifestyle and that becomes your business, that's amazing. I think the same when it comes to like Dr. Dapper, for example. Like his
Mhm.
lifestyle is the way he dresses. And so
Mhm.
LFLS shoes are
Right.
part of his lifestyle. That's his brand, but it's his lifestyle. And so that helps
Exactly.
him speak to, his shoes when it comes to talking to a client or customer, potential client or customer. And that's so key and that's so critical. So,
Mhm.
kudos to you for that. What is the most challenging part?
Um. Oof. I would say it's two parts. I would say one personally is to get out of my head
Mm,
because I still am in my head a lot. I still have the vision of, okay, what's the next step? How can I grow? And there's still fears there. There's
mm-hmm,
always going to be fears there, but pushing through. So I would say that's super challenging, is to really get out of my head. In terms of the business itself, for me right now is my inventory, because I'm selling out like crazy.
mm-hmm,
So it's a great thing. But narrowing it down and going back to, okay, how can I solve this, research, doing that and figuring out, okay, this is what I have to do to be able to continue, um to not, like, to sell out but not have
right.
so much of an inventory problem. That I would think that's for me my biggest challenges.
Okay, awesome, love that, and hold grace for yourself because you're doing something that's super amazing. I'm proud of you for starting and keeping with it and not letting it be something that came about and kind of passed, and fear lets you put it down. So super
Mm-hmm.
proud of that moment. And in terms of inventory, and speaking about that, I want everyone to know too, if you are currently a business owner, you have a business and you are running your business out of your personal bank account, I need you to stop.
A hundred
I
percent.
need you to stop doing that. I need you
Do not.
to open a business account. You
Mm-hmm.
need a business bank account because at the end of the day, the one thing that we need to be smarter about is using other people's money. And I mentioned that earlier.
Mm-hmm.
And in order to really scale your business, you have to get to a place where there's money coming in and out of an account that is stable,
Mm-hmm.
that is elevating, like
Mm-hmm.
growing, but it's not in your personal bank account. You will not get business funding if that money's going to your personal bank account. And business funding is not my avenue. Like I literally cannot sit on here and say I can preach to y'all about business funding, but I've been grateful and thankful enough to be placed in rooms and placed around people who are knowledgeable in these areas. Stormy Banks being one of them, which I super look up to her. She's an amazing person, and I will have her on Coffee Talks podcast at some point. But she talks about business funding, and that's where I kind of got the gem and like, oh, okay, so I cannot run this business through my personal bank account and then ask for money from other people, because they're like, no, you're paying yourself. Where's the business? You are not the business. Okay,
correct.
You are not the business. So make sure you have a business bank account. And then that brings me to my next question I want to ask. In terms of being the face of Mood Lashes, because as we know, people have the option whether they want to be the face of their brand or if they don't want to be the face of their brand. How did you decide that you wanted to be the face of Mood Lashes versus just kind of putting the product out there, white labeling it, and just moving on?
I think the biggest thing for me is understanding that people buy from people, and it's not just the products or the business. And I wanted my face to be the face for Mood Lashes because I wanted people to know me, know my story, understand it, see my day-to-day life, and be inspired by that. So that's mainly the reason why I stuck with myself, and being the face of Mood Lashes, because I feel like I have amazing personality, and I wear the lashes all the time, and just being able to say, okay, well, today's mood is this, and really get in the nitty gritty from the owner of the business.
Right. Love that. So speaking of which, now that we're talking about the actual product, here is Mood Lashes by Lisa Marie. So this is the current packaging, right? The current what you will get. And so the lashes that I'm wearing are called, oh, hold on, let me open it the right way. Sorry, y'all. Ta-da! Sassy. So here's a pair of lashes called Sassy. Now, what are the names of your collections first, and what comes in the collection?
So we have classic, medium, and volume. So Sassy is within the medium, and they range in prices. So they range from $18 to $22. Again, you're getting quality. Me, someone who wore lashes all the time, like you said, to the grocery store. My lashes came from Walmart, Dollar Tree, all these places, right? And I was just like, let me throw them on. Wish. Everywhere, right?
Not Wish.
So when you, if somebody was to come to me and say, you want to pay $20 for lashes, back then I would have been like, but knowing the quality behind it, the usage, and the education behind the lashes, I was pleasantly surprised at women are like, okay, let me get 2 pair, 3 pair, let me, you know what I mean? So I think that's another key point is don't sell yourself short when you have a good product. Know your worth, know what you can charge, and be confident in that, and do not try to downplay yourself or downplay prices on your product if you know you have a great product.
Absolutely. And that goes for product or service, because let me tell
that
you
too.
There's some people out here with services that they're not charging the appropriate price point for. And the thing with price point, and what I really also want people to understand, is something that we know from being in retail for so many years. Whether it's a service or a product that you're selling, your price point speaks to not only what you value yourself at, but it speaks to the value of your product or your service. So if you're selling your product or your service for a lower price point to potentially grab more customers, you're selling yourself short, because then it reads as if, you know what, it may not be worth $9.99 for these lashes, right? It may not be worth $200 for this course. Like, you really, people will tie their value to what you charge them. They really will. Think of a Louis Vuitton. Louis Vuitton, I just heard, increase their prices 25%. Did I hear that? 25% increase.
That's a big
on a
jump.
Louis Vuitton price point. That is one, a crazy price point increase. Like that is
Yes.
insane. I understand supply and demand, but goddamn,
That
right?
is a lot.
But they
Absolutely.
are going to get that money,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because they understand their value. Rolls Royce understands the value of that car.
Yep.
So they're not going to sell that car for less than what it's worth to them.
Yep.
Because that speaks to their brand, that speaks to their integrity. So it's super important, you know, to that point, to make sure you get what you're worth, and don't create your prices for your customer, create your prices for the worth. So another product that I want to talk about really quickly is this lash glue pen. Literally saved my life. When I was getting ready for this live, and you know how we used to be with Nice Kicks trying to get ready every week, down to the wire in terms of time, I was able to throw these lashes on, y'all, in like a half a second, where normally it takes me a little bit to put on lashes. I'm not even gonna hold you. I've done makeup for a long time, but it's still a process because it's one of those things that I don't do often. But this magnetic glue pen is super thin and it doubles as eyeliner, so it's the perfect go-to. So definitely get involved.
Yes.
So let's tell everybody where they can find you.
Yes. So you can shop directly from my site, which is moodlashes.co. Co. You can also find me on Instagram, Mood Lashes by Lisa Marie. You can shop directly through Instagram as well. Also, it's the same name on Facebook. I have a shop through Facebook as well. Goes directly to my site, Mood Lashes by Lisa Marie.
Love that. I was trying my best this whole time not to call you meat. We call each other meat. But again, you know, congratulations. I'm really super proud of you. I'm so happy you stuck with it. This is your lane. This is your place. Mood fashion is coming next.
Yes.
Putting the hammer down. We're getting into mood fashion next because the world needs you and needs to see you. And to everyone who's been live with us this entire time, thank you so much. This is the first live episode of Coffee Talks. I will be doing the YouTube every week. It may not be a Monday. I'll let you guys know within my Instagram. So follow me on Instagram, Stizzo Speaks, Stizzo Speaks, which is just like the name says up there, or reads up there. So definitely follow my Instagram so you can get an update. If you are someone who sat there and you enjoyed this moment with Lisa and I, make sure you subscribe to my channel, hit the like button, turn on your notifications so you'll know when I do go live. But I plan to do this every week with a new beautiful entrepreneur, whether it's a male or female. This platform is really about, again, leadership, love, lifestyle, leveling up. We need more of this experience. I mean, it is like overdue that we take full heed of all the tools and the resources that are in our back pocket, and social media is one of them. And I will tell you guys, I was not going to do this podcast initially because it was something that I felt like was another thing on my to-do list. But honestly, when I went back and I looked at previous videos of Lisa and I on Nice Kicks, you know, the fact that I speak, I'm a host, this is what I do. 100%. This is such my element, and I have so much information. I know so many things, and I want to share more. So I appreciate you guys for being here. This platform is only going to grow. Share it with a friend, let someone know. And I hope that you learned something today about entrepreneurship, being a mom, utilizing the different percentages and the different buckets of all the things we do in this world. But go get that business bank account. I wish you nothing but success. Go follow Mood Lashes, get your lashes. Yes. And thank you again, Lisa, for being here. I appreciate you so much. And thank you for everybody tuning in.
Thank you, me. Thank you, Stizzo. I love you, and I'm so proud of you. And I'm so grateful and thankful to be your first guest. And you are going to blow up. I'm so proud of you. You have no idea. And I love you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Ari. The Out of LA popped in. Kaya, Mel for being here the whole time. Love you guys. Much love. Have a happy Monday.